Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Tricky Words set number 1. Over the course of the next couple weeks, I will be going over 4 tricky word sets, between 12 and 13 word pairs or trios in some cases, for each of these sets of words. So tricky word set 1, what we're looking at here are words that are, for lack of a better way to say this, tricky. When we are speaking, they sound the same in many cases. However, when we go to pen to paper or pencil to paper or fingers to keyboard, type these words or write these words down, it is important to be able to differentiate which is which and to know what the use is for each of these words. So what I've kind of done over the course of the year, the last couple of years, and even some writing examples from class this year, is when I see common mistakes, I take note of them, whether it be mentally or actually jot them down. And let's combat these and let's become better writers going forward over the course of this unit that we are going to begin right now. So, the first pairing we have is sight versus sight. S-I-G-H-T is your ability to see. My eyesight, personally, I wear contacts, is very, very poor without my contacts, to the point that I have to have my glasses in just the right spot so I can feel where they are. I'm very, very, very close to blind, probably legally blind. Whereas S-I-T-E is a work site, a website, a location. Difference between sight and sight. Next up, we have allowed and allowed, and I've seen this in some of your writings this year. A-L-L-O-W-E-D. You are permitted. It would be acceptable if you were there. Whereas A-L-O-U-D, read that aloud so it can be heard by others. He voiced his issue aloud, right? A-L-O-U-D, able to be heard by others. We're going to spend a little bit more time on this one. I versus me. Have some me, myself, and I. I think that's a little Drake action going on there, although it appears to be G-Eazy. So I apologize if I'm giving credit to that lyricist incorrectly. But when do we use I and when do we use me? So this is a little bit different because the words don't at all sound the same. However, it's actually somewhat simple. If you are part of the subject, okay? So take a look at I. Phil and I are going to the party. You want to use I. However, if someone else is the subject, take a look at the right side. Beth asked who? Phil and me to attend her party. Another way you can kind of think about this, right, is let's say you want to decide when using a group of individuals, 2 or more, do I use me or do I use I? What you can really do is take that other person out. So take a look at the Beth asked Phil. Beth asked me to attend her party. Makes a lot of sense. Beth asked I to attend her party. I probably would not say that. So that's another way to kind of do that there. There is one exception, and that is when you are doing at the bottom, a than comparison. Phil is cooler than I, okay? Tiger Woods is better at golf than I, sadly. A tall person is taller than I. So when you are comparing, you always need to use I. Almost envision, or remember, think that am would go at the end of that sentence. Phil is cooler than I am. You would not say Phil is cooler than me am. So that's the only exception. Use I in the subject. Use me in the predicate with the exception of than comparisons. Bye, bye, bye. NSYNC. Oh, the 90s. I was a young lad. Bye, bye, bye. Justin Timberlake and the rest of the fellas there. Couldn't even find a better quality photo for you. It's so old. But B-U-Y, purchase. B-Y-E, deuces. See you later. B-Y, the car by the garage, tells you which one. B-Y is a preposition that could be launched into a prepositional phrase. Where, which one. Do not confuse. Bye, bye, bye. All right. That and who. So, when I say, Mr. McClung, why are these together? And here's the reason. I have a friend who, I have a dog that. In other words, you need to use the pronoun who with human beings and that with everything else. Ready? Give me that kitten. I have a friend who hates kittens. So do not say I have a friend that hates kittens, because that would imply that your friend is not a human being, rather a robot, a machine, or an animal. I have a friend who, I have a wife who is over there probably right now working on a video herself. All right. When do I use that? When do I use who? Always use who with human beings, that with everything else. Yes, this is, I don't know what I was thinking here, but we do appear to have a dead cat and a cat with an iPhone. Not sure which number there. Apologize for the morbidness of that image. Was and were. All right, country folks. So here we go. She was, they were. Very, very simple. She was, or he was, they were. They was just walking through the park. They were. Okay, so the difference between these two words is think of is and are. And I find this interesting because generally we're looking at was and were as past tense verbs. These past tense verbs, past tense is and past tense are, was, were. We don't have many people who say she are, okay, or they is. But for whatever reason, when we go past tense, this mistake is made, okay? So just keep in mind, they was is not a thing. They were, okay? She was, or a group of people. Phil and Beth were. Never say Phil and Beth was. And again, I think this maybe could be more in spoken language than written language. I think most of you do a really nice job with this. But just keep in mind, right, when we are especially speaking standard English, giving a speech, writing in paper, subject-verb agreement, always important. She was, they were. Singular, plural. Here we go, folks. This is a big one. So I try to include at least two very, very commonly made mistakes on each of these 4 units. And this one here is huge. And you can see the meme here. There are people who never paid attention to their teacher in school. They're probably wondering what this means. So we have 3 examples of there. 3 words, all obviously sounding very, very alike. EIR, possession. Back to the kitten. It is their kitten, not mine. I don't want it, okay? It belongs to them. That is ownership and possession. There is always a direction. Go over there, okay? I don't want you here. Go over there. Work in a group with those people. And there just means they are. What I have a lot of students do is they never really use they are, the contraction they are. So one way you could avoid this is, you know what, just say, I don't want to use contractions, and you just make that lifestyle change. And that is totally fine. We will talk about should have and could have in another module, because should apostrophe VE is should have. There is no such thing, ready, as should of. It does not exist. Should space OF, not a thing. But when we pronounce should have, that's what it sounds like. So if you want to make the choice today, I'm not going to use contractions because it confuses me. Don't do it. They are, there, and there. Can you master the difference between these 3 very, very different words, as well as their meaning they are? Your and your. Here's another big one, people. Another contraction issue, if you will. Your. You are. Your kitten. Why the kitten? I don't know today, people, but I tell you what, you see this all over the place. And again, as an English teacher, this is like nails on the chalkboard for me. Your has to do with possession. It does not mean you are. Okay, so look, again, if you want to say, hey, I'm not using contractions anymore because all they do is confuse me, go with you are. Okay, your, Y-O-U-R, has to do with possession 1,000,000% of the time. It never means you are. Okay, some memes here. Every time you use your for your, you make Batman cry. You are versus your kitten. Okay, that is your dinner. It does not belong to me. All right, particular set of skills like knowing the difference between there, and your. Your kitten, you are, okay, is what Y-O-U apostrophe R-E is. Believe it or not, people, this does exist. And again, if we didn't have contractions, I don't think we would have this problem. But your, Y-O-U-R, 1,000,000%, not a real mathematical figure, has to do with possession belonging to you. That is your computer, your iPad, your iPhone, your boyfriend. Then and then, this is another one just painful on social media. Look, very simple. than, dogs are better than cats. It is a comparison, people. Then is a time frame. Different words. We have an A and we have an E. And look, stop making this mistake because it is painful. And I will tell you, I have really, really smart students who never use than. They use then for both of these situations. Look, fix this right now. Don't do this anymore. Than is a comparison. You are taller than she is. Then is an order of events. I will go to the store and then I'll go to the park, right? THEN should never be substituted for THAN. They are different words used for different reasons all over the place. I see everybody misusing THEN. It means then. Order of events. It means after. First I'll do this, then I will do this. Than, folks. Dogs are better than cats. She is taller than you are. It is a comparison. Totally different words. Stop making this mistake today. This is the one I got on a soapbox about earlier. Look, should of does not exist over on the right. The reason we think it does, or some people think it does, is because when we read the contraction should have, should have, right? When we eliminate the HA, it sounds like should have, but look, should of does not exist. I promise you, this is a pronunciation issue because of the contraction should have, sounding like should have. We speak should have. However, written language, folks, should of, I promise you, it does not exist. Should have, okay? You should have recycled. You should have remembered to put underwear on today. You should have worn pants. I don't know why I'm going clothing styles right now. But should have, okay? When we contraction should have, we create should have. By no means does that mean it exists. That's the way that we pronounce it, okay? Should have and could have, would have, none of them exist. They are fake news. This is an elephant in a waterfall. I don't know why. It just felt right in the moment here, people. Should have, never, ever, ever write or type should have because it is not a thing. It does not exist. Lie and lay. Lie. Go lie down. You don't feel well? You go rest. Also, you are not telling the truth. Lay means to place. We'll talk about sit and set. They are very, very similar. They mean the exact same things. Go lie down. You don't feel well? L-I-E. Go lie down. Also means to tell a lie. But in this case, lay down the weapon. Place, set it down. Lay down your weapon. Lie down when you're tired. So this is the last one here. There's and there are. And this is another one. Obviously, we've just recently watched some political debates, and a lot of smart people, who are more intelligent than I and you maybe, on television and in other places, use theirs a lot when they should say there are. But just realize subject-verb agreement. If you have more than one group, okay, or more than one thing to whom you are referencing, there is, my friend, one. There are, my friends, more than one, okay? You should never say, there's my friends, because then you are saying, there is my friends. There are, more than one, to be used with plural. I included this parenthetical here, actually just kind of notation below the that's all, folks. If you want to be a jerk, start correcting people on this. I don't advise this, but look, one of the most commonly mistaken things in our spoken language. Like I said, smart people do this. Subject-verb agreement is an issue in written language. There are many things I want to talk to you about today. More than one. There are hundreds of thousands of people in this country struggling with COVID, okay? There is one person in this room, on this video right now, trying to help you differentiate between these words, folks. So I tell you what, this is Unit 1. We will start with Unit 2, Set 2. Next time, do better at differentiating between these words. Know when to use them, know when to select them, and good luck on your exit quiz for today. See ya.